Hi, good morning, Facebook. So, I just wanted to come on and say hi. If you are seeing this, then you are catching the replay because it doesn't say live right there. Hashtag cold cup below. So I know that you caught me for a cold cup of Joe. This is like old school up in here, you guys. Car, I got my coffee. Come hang out. Hi, Rye. Shouldn't you be a school babe? You look so pretty today. I saw your post. Your mama's post. I don't know why I was whispering that. Squirrel. My niece pops on and I'm like, hi. So I wanted to come on and say a few things. Because I'm in school, but I'm in gym. Bub has gym first too. They call it PE here. I never, ever post political things. Ever. Like, if you ask me about politics, I'm like, I don't know, girl. You do you, right? Like, that's kind of always been my thing. I never judge people. I always try to look for the good in people. I always try to stand up for not what I believe, but what I believe is right? So, with everything that's been going on in the world for years and in my life personally, I've posted about. That's kind of, I got involved in in an industry that's frowned upon in 2015, and that gave me the confidence to continue to, and encouragement to continue to be who I wanted to be and get my confidence back to be able to be me, be who I'm meant to be. And I've gotten a lot of slack over the years for a lot of things, right? I got made fun of because I would post about makeup. I got made fun of as a kid because I wore glasses, which are now cool to wear glasses. I got made fun of because my hair was curly as a kid, which that's now cool to have curly hair again. I got made fun of because I had older parents. I got made fun of because I had red hair. I got made fun of my entire life. And I've done so much personal development work that started out super, super small. I have people ask me, what do you mean when you say personal development? What I mean is I started reading books that made me feel good. I started reading books about energy. I started reading books about the law of attraction. I started reading books about positive thinking. I started reading things about, hey boo, hey Zach. I started reading things about how our mind controls our body. I say this all the time. I will never forget this. For those of you that don't know this, because you think your girl's stupid, your girl has a college degree, so there's that. And in my psychology class, I remember my professor, now, I suck at math, but 2000? I think I started college in 2000 because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. I wasn't sure I wanted to go to college because I was picked on my whole effing educational career that I didn't know that I wanted to do that again. So anyway, I digress. I went to college as an older woman. The kids in college weren't 21 yet, and I was showing up at classes hungover from being at the bars the night before, but it was fine, right? I still did it. I still had a 4.0, okay? And I worked full time nannying an 11-year-old, okay, whose parents both commuted to New York City, because if you don't know this about me, I'm from Jersey, okay? One other thing I want to touch on. My birthday is 9/11. It is going to be the 20th year anniversary. I knew people that were affected. I had to sit and I had to think that day, what if, because I couldn't hear from his parents. I couldn't get in touch with his parents. I had to think, how do I pick up a little boy and tell him, I don't know if your parents made it today, dude. Okay? No one came at me then. No one had anything to do with anything then. Okay? I digress. In psychology class, my professor wanted us to write our obituary. He wanted us to write what we wanted to be known for. I probably have it because I save everything. It's a horrible habit, and I know I need to purge. I'm purging, and I need to purge my stuff. My psychology professor said, write your obituary. What do you want to be known for? And keep that in your head. Keep that in your head because your mind controls a lot of you. And I remember writing down that I wanted to be known for my art, for making a statement. I didn't follow that career path, but I kind of did, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. But I remember that. I also remember him saying, good morning, that the week of finals, that your brain controls so much of what happens to you physically. That the week of finals, when students would be like, I'm gonna not call out, but like, I'm gonna say I'm sick. I ain't gonna show up. I'm gonna try to take it at home. Now, mind you, this was at home college days. There was no such thing as that then. Okay. I'm old. I'm not old. I'm glorious. Okay. And he said, my college professor, so those of you who are like, oh, stupid people listen to stupid people. My college professor, okay, he said that the week of finals, people wouldn't show up because they'd be like, I'm going to say I'm sick. I'm going to say I'm sick. I'm going to pretend I'm sick. And you know what? They wouldn't come to the final. They'd go do whatever they were going to do that they felt was more important than showing up for the final. And a few days later, because they kept saying, I'm sick, I'm sick, I'm sick, guess what? They got sick. Your brain believes what you tell it. What you put out into the universe comes right back to you. Someone said that to you, what, that I'm stupid? Oh, girl. Go read my thread today that I posted last night. So I started to, even though I didn't believe it, and even though I did go through periods of negativity and a toxic atmosphere, lots, okay? I started to speak up on my husband having a mental disorder. I started to speak up about alcoholism. I started to speak up about childhood sexual freaking abuse. I started to speak up about a lot of things, and no one ever wanted to hear it. No one ever wanted to talk about it. People show up in my inboxes and tell me when I would talk about childhood sexual abuse, which, by the way, kids are starting school. Parents, please have the talks with your children about consent. I'm not talking about the effing vaccination or wearing a mask or any of that. I'm talking about the statistics, and 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually assaulted by the time they are 18 years old. The things people used to come into my inbox and tell me would make me cry. Have that conversation, please, with your children about physical, who can physically touch, make, force anything to their body, sexually and otherwise, because It's not just adults. It's not just, oh, well, we don't have any predators in our school. I have heard stories of little girls touching other little girls on the effing school bus on the way to a field trip. Okay? Have those talks with your children that it's okay to tell somebody, do not do this to me. I digress. But I had to get that out there. So when I spoke of those things, no one wanted to talk about it publicly because people were shamed for it. People didn't want to admit it. When I started to talk about my husband's sobriety, same thing. People didn't want to talk about it. People wanted to say, oh, good job, John. But no one wanted to talk about how addiction controls your brain. Okay? No one wanted to talk about how we lost a friend to addiction and people were still doing lines in the funeral parking lot. But we won't talk about that either. Okay? We won't talk about that either. What we're here to talk about today is the fact that during the height of 2020, March, April, when everybody was locked down, when everybody had to stay indoors, when everybody had to wear a mask, when unless you had to be outside, you were allowed to be outside. Guess what, friends? My husband was an essential employee. He had to carry a card with him that said that if he got pulled over, he could prove that he was heading to work. So during the freaking height of it all, when everybody was so worried and they were telling you this ish was living on your freezer, this old man thinks I'm crazy. Hi, sir. Welcome to the show. It was living in your freezer. You could, do you remember that? Who remembers that? When there was like a little voice memo of like a little old woman saying like, it lives in your freezer for 2 years and it could this. And I was that person. John would come home from work. John would come home from work in Florida. This is weird for my Jersey friends, but in Florida, laundry's in the garage. So John would come home, strip in the garage. I had to give that disclaimer so that, he would strip in the garage. But he would strip in the garage. I'd go out there with a mask, with Lysol. He left everything that he touched on our workbench. He would leave the car windows open. I would go out there with a mask and Lysol and clean everything, put his clothes in the laundry. When he was the only one who would go grocery shopping because he was like, I'm already out. I'll do it. Hey guys, you know what? My husband has diabetes. Didn't they say that diabetics were high at risk? Oh yeah, and you know what? John had a heart disease when we were like in our 20s also. So he was an essential worker. He was forced to work while he had 2 of the high risk factors, right? But he was going to work. He was going to the grocery store because I also have asthma. So he was worried that I have asthma. They're saying it affects your lungs. We have Caden in the house. He's a kid. Let's be smart. Right? Let's be smart. He would do the grocery shopping. I was the freaking psycho. Who else was? Please tell me I was not alone in this. That was Lysol wiping the groceries down. If you guys have followed me for any amount of time, I even did a live where it was the first time I went to the grocery store and I lost my collective-ish because no one was following the one-way paths. People weren't standing 6 feet apart from me. I became a paranoid freak. I was a complete anxiety-ridden, paranoid freak. Luckily, I have a friend who also serve for this country message me and say, Joe, I am worried about your mental health. I want you to come over. And I was like, no. She showed up at my house, sat 6 feet apart, put a chair in my driveway, brought me a cup of coffee, put out hand sanitizer. We sat 6 feet apart, and she made me feel like a effing human again. I will never forget that. Never forget that. By the way, she's a badass realtor down here. So if you guys want to come live where it's actually like amazing, I got your go. Anyway, that started to like trickle. That started to make me think, okay? She planted a seed. This was last year, you guys. Then the things came up about sex trafficking. Hi, Joanne, you talk a lot about childhood sexual abuse, and look what's happening. Look what's happening. Look what's being hidden. Look how they're banning things and blocking things and don't want anybody to know about this. Is it a conspiracy theory? I don't know. But you know what? Isn't there also a documentary about how 9/11 was a conspiracy? How 9/11 was planned? I didn't watch it because I don't want to know. But there was also a documentary about SeaWorld, right? And everybody hated on that. Anyway, if you know me, I got like 89 tabs open. I'll try and close them all. Stick around. I'll get to my point, I promise. So John's an essential worker. John's going to work because he has to. Did anybody come to me and say, Joe, be smart? Joe, do what's best. Protect others. Joe, you're being selfish. Nope. Nope. They didn't. When I talked about mental health and how it's effing hard, did anybody come to me and say, Joe, you okay? What can I help you with? You doing good? Nope. When I myself started to get addicted to alcohol because the mental fuckery, like my girl Michelle said, it's a perfect example, and we were stuck in the house and anxiety is 80,000%. My glass of wine that I loved was turned into a bottle of wine. My bottle of wine was turned into, ooh, I like whiskey. Someone gifted John whiskey. John's been sober, so it's sitting there. I'll try it. We figured we save it for company. I never drank whiskey. I allowed my mind to be controlled because I wanted an escape of something that I couldn't process. A couple months ago, all of a sudden, I was like, what is going on? What is going on? Can I also tell you that when the whole George Floyd, Black Lives Matter thing, I am not saying that it does not matter. I am not saying that one side matters, blue lives or black lives. My whole thing is everybody should just go back to being, like, we need to go back to like the 60s and the 70s with like Woodstock, and everybody just needs to love everybody. And there's a white effing feather that just fell out of the sky. I am not even kidding you. So if you're old school Italian and you know that a feather is a symbol of an angel watching you, I don't know who that is. Usually my symbols for certain people or certain things, but somebody sent me that. I don't know who it is. But anyway, that's freaky shit. I'm going to go get it when I'm done. Literally just fell out of the sky. There's no power lines here. Okay. So I've talked about child trafficking. I've talked about angel. Oh my God, Pam. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that. Duh. Anyway. So when you go back to all those things, right? And then I started intermittent fasting, and people told me, well, you can't do that. Your body needs fuel. Your body this, your body. We've been conditioned. That's crazy. That's crazy. We've been conditioned to think we need to eat 17 meals a day. Go back to the 50s. What were their portions compared to our portions? When I was a kid, McDonald's, Taco Bell, all that kind of stuff, girl, that was a treat I maybe got once in a blue moon. Now that's what we live on, okay? But I remember, if any of you know this or have known me for a long time, after we first moved to Florida, my brother-in-law was in a motorcycle accident where he was pronounced DOA. He was put in a medically induced coma, and all he lived on was saline. So that got me thinking, if they want the body to heal and not feed it food, and it's saline, then why is intermittent fasting so bad for me? Right? The body needs to heal. The body needs to, we're built that way, right? When I started seeing a chiropractor because I was getting chronic headaches, I had chronic asthma, I lived on freaking Zyrtec, I lived on Advair, I lived on steroids, you guys. I started seeing a chiropractor. Another thing people told me I was crazy about, okay? Now flash forward to today, we don't give our bodies a chance to heal. Right. Flash forward to today. Well, no, flash forward to March of this year, March of 2021. My son went back to school. I was e-learning. It was hard. Everybody was doing it. Lots of kids went back. I didn't want to send my kid back. That was another thing parents were being judged for. If you sent your kid back, how dare you, right? But I was like, I need to do what's better for my child's mental health. He is trapped in a house all day with me, who's spiraling. He's an only child. He needs communication. He needs adult humans. We get energy from other people. We get energy from the earth. Yes, we'd go outside. It's not like we just sat in the four walls, but like we needed to see other humans. I sent him back to school. He brought home COVID while masks were mandated in Florida. Coincidentally, it was spring break when people were coming from the north down here because it was warm here, okay? Just throwing that out there too. He brought home COVID while everybody was masked. I was the one who was anxiety ridden, who was stressed out. I was the one who was sicker than I have ever been. The only other 2 times I could remember being in that much pain was when I was in unmedicated labor, because I refused medication during my labor, okay? Number 2 was when I had the flu. Was it because I was eating like crap and indulging and trying to cope with food and alcohol, and my body couldn't figure out what I was doing because I stopped intermittent fasting because I was home all day? I think so. Was it because my mind wasn't right because I spiraled? I think so. Is it because my immunity is not the best? Because I don't always do what I need to do? Yep, I wasn't taking care of myself. So now that I did 30 days sober from June 21st through July 21st, July 20th. I decided to do the Hard 75. I have been doing, if you don't know what the Hard 75 is, it is 2 45-minute workouts a day. One has to be outdoors. You have to drink a gallon of water a day. You have to read 10 pages of a personal development book a day. You have to take progress photos every day. And you have to follow a diet. Today is day 11, my favorite number, which prompted me to do this live because a few days ago, it was like I had this aha where I was like, I have always spoken up for what I've believed in, but I didn't want to speak on this because it's so political. All of it is so political. Love you, girl. And I never, ever, ever got involved in politics. My whole family has been in the service, by the way, but I've never got involved in politics. But when I started to put things together in my own head, my mother got sick with a UTI last year and was hospitalized and isolated. She couldn't have visitors. She couldn't be in a room. The doctors would come in. She couldn't see their faces. And it triggered like dementia basically for her. I started to really think, what is all of this doing to our people? To our people. What is all of this doing to our people? It's not okay. This man thinks I'm nuts too. Hi. It's not okay. It's all making us want to hate each other. It's making us so isolated that we forget how to be human. We forget how to be kind. Remember after 9/11 when everybody loved this country? It wasn't a political thing. Everybody had American flags on their hoods of their cars. I was in college at that time. And I remember, I wish I saved them, but we had to do a project showing documentary. It was a documentary, right? Documentary photography class. And we had to show what was going on. And I remember my mom being like, "You're not going into the city, Joanne." And I didn't. I listened. I respected her wishes. I just went in the next month. But everybody posted everything. There was American flags everywhere. Everywhere. We were all so kind to each other. We all wanted to help each other. Out of that tragedy came kindness, right? So how come this time, out of this tragedy, it's becoming hate? People that I've known since I were 8 years old, 10 years old, I don't know how old, are not commenting on my hard 75, not encouraging me to stay sober, not saying, you know what, Joe, that's awesome that John's helping right now with freaking Louisiana. Pray for all those people who've lost their homes and their everything else, right? No one's coming and saying anything about any of that. So is it that social media is only showing the hate so that the hate could continue? Is it that people are only attracted to negative because negativity attracts negativity, just like positivity attracts positivity? Or is it that, I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. I don't know why people think it's okay to speak illy to somebody else. Remember what I said about what you say, what you think your body reacts to? And if you watch any of my lives, if you see any of my posts, I always say that the most conversations you'll have, sorry, I'm pointing, the most conversations that you'll have are with yourself. So speak kindly to yourself. Speak kindly to other people. You don't know what they are going through. You don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know how much they have on their plate. You have no idea what it's like to walk in someone's shoes unless you've tied their effing laces. So if anything, out of anything that I post about all the controversy about makeup, people keep saying to me, stick to your makeup. Luckily, I haven't worn makeup in like a year, Thank you, quarantine. Luckily, I digress. I'm going to stick to what I feel I need to say. My conscience, my gut, my heart tell me that I have been put in the situations that I have been put in so I can help other people. I was put through a lot of things that I was put through to get me here. And I never believed that. I was always like, dude, I used to joke and say, I must have been the second gunman on the grassy knoll, because why do I keep getting this bad karma? It was because I believed it. It was because I believed it. I believed that. I don't think my soul is here to keep repeating the bad. I don't. I think it's time that my soul breaks that cycle so that like my soul could do what it was meant to do here. And that's to remind people to be freaking kind. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. I don't care if you like cats or dogs. I don't care if you agree with being vaccinated or not. I don't care if you think it's cool to tattoo yourself or not. I am no one to judge anyone, and all I'm asking for is the respect that you don't judge me, because I have the balls to say things that other people won't say. So that being said, I'm gonna go put in my headphones, go for my walk, get my zen back, because I'm an empath, and all of this heavy ass ish. Oh, my friend's here with his puppies. I'm gonna go pick up that feather so that I could show my sister. Thank you, Pam, for like bringing that to my attention. It's funny how, right? Like that was called to you to tell me that, because I couldn't get there. And just do better, be good, right? Be the good, be kind, spread love. You never know what someone's going through. So don't be so quick to call them stupid. Don't be so quick to tell them to be smart. Don't be so quick to tell somebody what to do. Do you. Be the best freaking version of you. If you sucked yesterday, work harder at it today. There ain't no such thing as perfect. Have I effed up some of the hard 75? Yup. Am I gonna quit? Nope. Because there's no such thing as perfect. Just be the best version of you. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for those of you who send me the positive energy, because like I said, I'm an empath and I carry all that. So I'm going to go get rid of it. I'm going to go walk. I'm going to go ground myself. I'm going to go do all the things so I could get good, so that I could focus, so that I could get my work done today, so that I can have the good rest of the day with my son who is at school. Love you guys. Thank you for listening and coming to my Joe Talk. It's not a TED Talk. It's a Joe Talk. Love you. Bye.